How's it going, guys? So we're gonna go ahead and check out this E90. We had to pull the wheel off for a couple different reasons. One, we want to check out the brake pad thickness, and that's going to be in here. Second of all, our brake pad sensor wouldn't reset, and you can see here it actually has the whole side of it's actually shattered off of it. So it's just pretty funny because it still has a clip and it was still hooked up. We did the bypass mod. You could do the bypass mod, which basically is you pull the coating off, you twist the two wires together that go to the car, and it thinks that everything's good. And basically at that point, a lot of guys don't like doing that. It's just like a regular car. I mean, it's not going to tell you if your brake pads are getting low. I mean, it's stuff you should be keeping an eye on anyway. Most cars don't do that anyway, except for BMWs and probably some Audis. Anyway, that's the mod on that. We did the mod instead of replacement. Replacement is $15 per axle. There is one on the front driver's side, which we're at right here, and there's another one on the passenger rear on the E90. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to check your control arms and tie rods for wear. And real quick, if you guys didn't know, on your E90, with standard brakes, this is not the Brembo car, there's a sight hole, if I get you in there, right there. You could actually see the size of your brake pads, how much brake pad is left. You can look at the front ones by looking right there, and you can see how much brake pad's left right there. This one is good, so whoever did the brakes on it broke the sensor and shattered the side off of it. Nonetheless, that's no longer an issue. What we did, we stripped them back really far, twisted them together many times so they wouldn't come apart. And you could use a crimp-on under a car. I don't like using crimp-ons. We twisted together, back taped it again, and then we zip tied it just up and out of the way. If you only cut that, you're not going to hurt nothing with the car because the junction box is right there, and you could always just plug a new sensor in it. You don't want to cut it into the car wiring because then you're committed at that point. So your control arms are right here, and on the E90s here, the thrust arm goes from the bottom. There's a ball joint down there, and it runs back over here. You can see it, and it hooks up to the thrust bushing, which is right there. That's usually the biggest failure point. E90 is not quite as bad as some of the other cars. E39s were horrible about that crap. In fact, we're gonna have a video coming out very shortly on doing another front end kit on E39. How we check these, we get back here, hook a pry bar in. This isn't really the right kind of pry bar, but it is what it is. We're gonna push up, we're gonna check for movement. We don't see any movement at all. We're gonna come in here, we're going to do the same thing on the lower ball joint, which is right here. The other ball joint to the lower control arm, which I call it, is right here. I don't know if I can get you guys in there or not. My microphone's too big. And you're gonna want to check that also. Do the same thing. You're gonna stick your pry bar in there. You're gonna pry down. If you see any movement out of that, there's probably definitely an issue. And if you're noticing clunking, like a clunky noise when you're hitting bumps when you're driving, it's probably time for control arms. Okay, so we rotated the wheel the other direction, and that's going to expose a couple other crucial parts. One is our sway bar end link, which is right there. You're going to make sure that's still intact. A lot of times those are actually brake could be dangling dangling out there, and it'll be hitting stuff when you're hitting bumps. That's a pretty common issue. They fixed that a little bit on the E90s here, but they still do it. So be very cautious of that. The next thing is your inner and outer tie rods. Now, let me tell you a story. Inner and outer tie rods right here. Right here is where they connect. This is the seam, so your outer tie rod is right here, and it hooks up with this ball joint right there. Your inner tie rod is right here, and it has another ball joint in there where it goes into the rack and pinion. Now, I never do anymore. I don't buy just the outer tie rod, because as you can see right here at this joint, there is a gap, and that pinches together, and that leaves an opening. Especially cars that were from up north like this one, it'll get salt and water and all kinds of crap down in here, and you're never going to be able to break that apart. You might be able to get apart, but my God, I wouldn't even worry about it. I get the kits that have the inner and outer. I'll take the boot off, I'll just unscrew it out from the rack and pinion, you have to remove the boot. Sometimes you even got to cut the tie rod if you got a reusable boot. You throw all this crap away and you thread the new one on. That way, whenever you go to align it, if you're going to string line it like I do, if you take it to a shop or whatever, it doesn't matter. Whatever your method is, you could actually turn that stuff. A lot of you guys will find out pretty quickly if you're BMW, if you take it in for alignment and you have not replaced that and the car's got some age on it, even 5 or 6 years on it, they're not going to be able to break that loose to adjust the toe. That's a super common issue. So this thing's ready to put back together. There'll be some more videos coming up on this car very shortly. Transmission fluid change. We got to do the rear window regulator on the other side. Probably won't make a video of that. But that is all for how to check your front control arms on a BMW E90. Thanks for watching, guys.